need to give proper notice with a commercial lease, because if you don't, the landlord has no legal obligation to grant you an extension of the lease. The usual requirement is between 3 and 6 months notice, so it's important that you read your lease to determine what requirement is necessary to give written notification to the landlord. If you're seeking to extend your lease, it's very important that you ensure there are no breaches of the lease. If you are in breach of the lease for either arrears of rent or breaches of other obligations in the lease, the landlord has no obligation to grant you the extension of the lease. If you're seeking an extension of the lease, it's critical that you read the terms and conditions of the lease, because the majority of leases say that you must give written notice to the landlord to extend the lease. If you don't give written notice, then the landlord can argue that it is not obliged to grant an extension of the lease. If you give written notice, it's also very important that you ensure it goes to the correct address, so it's served on the landlord properly, which will either be if it's a company that's registered office, or alternatively the address generally as referred to in the lease. If you don't give written notice seeking an extension of the lease, the landlord is not obliged to grant you an extension of the lease, which means that you will not have the opportunity to continue to remain in the premises. Most leases state that if you do remain in the premises, you become a monthly tenant, which means either the landlord can give you 1 month's written notice to terminate, or alternatively you can give 1 month's written notice to terminate. Accordingly, it's critical that, so as to ensure the goodwill of your business, which is what the lease grants to you because it gives you the right of occupancy, that you give written notification as required. It's always important that you seek proper advice prior to giving notification, so as to ensure that you comply with the terms of the lease. The two critical points when you're seeking an extension of the lease is to ensure that you are not in breach of any of the obligations under the lease, and that you give proper written notification in accordance with the windows set out in the lease. These windows can be 3 to 6 months or at such other times. We recommend that you seek legal advice prior to seeking any extension, so as to ensure that you comply with the terms of the lease at all times to protect your interest in your business.